Hi everyone, it's Rochelle and I'm back with another video on a VTA transitive verb related topic. And today we're going to talk about conjugations with an X, unknown actor, indefinite actor. It goes by a few names. And today what we're going to be talking about is this. So it shows up here as X. And this helps us to understand what we're going to see in the conjugation. For the conjugations that are going up in this direction, so X to me, X to you, we're going to see an ig. And then on the ones going down, X to third person or X to the obviate person, we're going to see an ah. So unknown, indefinite, actor, X does go by a few different names. And in English, sometimes how learners translate it is he is followed, or fluent speakers might say they followed him. It's quite common. And there's lots of people who will introduce themselves and they'll say indigo, and that is this sort of indefinite actor saying I am called or they call me, with the conjugation for ige, which I have another video on ige as a verb, but what happens when you have ige and an ig is that the verb drops out entirely. And so indigo is the indefinite actor conjugation. It's also really helpful if you're not feeling super confident with your VTA conjugations, because maybe you can't remember how to do the we to him conjugation. You can just take a step back. Oh, I know how to say he is being this, so I can be less specific and keep my sentence flowing, rather than, having your whole conversation stall out because you can't remember a conjugation. It's also, I think, good to learn because it is often used around things that we are interested in or we don't want to have miscommunications about. So ideas like money, repercussions, gossip, that kind of thing, you'll hear a lot of indefinite actor conjugations. And so it's good to get them down because you don't want to miss out on those conversations and you don't want to misunderstand what's going on. It also allows you to add focus and dimension in your speech. So, if you're telling a story and you use the same conjugation over and over and over again, it can feel a little bit like robotic. So throwing in indefinite actor allows you to really focus on the person who's most important in the story, and give you a little bit more sort of naturalness in your speaking. It's also important, as I mentioned before, because there can be misunderstandings, especially for learners, and we'll talk about a few of them that may come up. But you want to maybe have a listen to this video and learn about it so you don't accidentally try to correct someone when it's just a lack of knowledge on your part about this amazing way of interacting with transitive verbs, verbs that are done to people. So one other important reason, if you're using the Anishinaabemowin online dictionary, is that the indefinite actor is the form that you see right at the top of the entry. Wabama means he or she is seen, and that's how you're going to search for words, and also just for understanding when you're maybe directing other people to it, or wanting to talk about the conjugation in general. If you're using the Ojibwe People's Dictionary, the the version of the verb you see at the top is the command. And so you'll want to know how to make it into a X or indefinite actor. So what you're going to do for the independent form is you're going to take the iku or a sound, depending on if you're going X to me, X to you, X to 3, or X to obvious. And then you're going to add to that your VAI conjugation. So if the learner's already learned their VAIs, they're just adding this one piece. If you haven't seen the VAI conjugations, this is sort of what they look like. And sorry, this is with a VAI verb. VAI verb and VAI conjugations usually go together. But what we're doing today is we're taking this VAI conjugation and adding it to a VTA verb and the a or igu ending. So you can pause, take a minute, look at these. There are other resources online by amazing teachers who talk about the animate intransitive verbs and how you conjugate them. But if you haven't seen them, I just wanted to include them for a second. And so what you're going to do is you're going to say, if it's a ni or git at the beginning, or I guess O if you are from a community that includes the O at the beginning of third person. So you're going to put your ni or git here, and then you're going to add in the igu or a, depending on the direction that we saw at the beginning. And then finally, you're going to finish it off with any remaining pieces of your VAI conjugation. So this might be a min or an M. So you can see here, I've put some examples. Ni wabamigu. So I am seen. Ni wabamigu min. So this is we, not including you, are seen. So we're just adding the igu and the VAI conjugation. When we get down to the third and fourth person, we don't have anything at the beginning. Some people may have an O. So we just use our a for the third person singular, he or she is seen. For this, we have the a plus wug. So wabamawug, they are seen. And our obviate option, wabamawin. And as I mentioned before, there's some ones that come across very commonly, like I am called. Another thing that often happens is English speakers, we are not always aware of the way we understand the world. And so I've seen this happen. I think I've seen it more than once. Someone will ask what the word for lose is, because in English we think that win, the opposite of win is lose. And so we think there will be a standalone word for it. And so we're given bakanagu. And we automatically think, because of our English understanding, that that is a VAI for lose. And sometimes it takes a while for people to realize that it's not actually. What it is the indefinite actor of bacchanal, which means to win against someone. So it sort of means, like, you will hear ni baccanagu. So I was won against. Sometimes what will happen is the learner won't understand and they'll try to conjugate baccanagu. And that's not how this conjugation works. If you want to say he or she is beaten, what you're going to do is say bacchanalwa, because you're working with the VTA stem and you want to use the third person singular here. So the igu is part of the conjugation in ni bacchanalgu. Another one that sort of started me on wanting to do this is I had a similar thing. I would hear nikoganigome, which is like I understood what was being said, I understood that they were talking about, when they were young, when they were growing up. But it took me a while to find the word because I, again, was not looking for I was looking with the igu, thinking that that was part of the word. And so once I realized my error, I was able to, of course, find the verb and have a better sense of what was going on. We're being raised is just using the indefinite actor for kogana, which is to raise somebody. And when we talk about X or indefinite actor or whatever it's called where you are, sometimes we don't know who the actor is, but sometimes we do, and we're just not being specific about it, whether that's for politeness, whether it's for, to make the story more interesting, whether it's to, pull focus onto one person. It doesn't necessarily mean that the actor is completely unknown. It just means that we're not being specific about it in this conjugation. One other thing to know is that these two conjugations look just like the VTA conjugations for we to you and we to use. I don't know why that is. So I haven't touched on this, but you do want to remember the sound changes that happen wherever you're from. With the AA, we don't see so many, but with the AW plus IG, have an OG, and with the IGU, with IJ, you're going to see a dropping of the verb, as I mentioned earlier. So here is the full chart for Wapam. Gil Wapam IGU, you are seen, X sees you, Gin is seen, however you want to translate that. Gil Wapam Megum, Gil Wapam Megumin. Oh, my apologies. Gil Wapam Megum, yous are seen. Gil Wapam Megumin, we, including you, are seen. Or X sees us. Nil Wapam Megu, I am seen. Nil Wapam Megumin, we, but not you, are seen. Wapama, he or she is seen. Wapama Wug, they are seen. Wapama one, the other person, the fourth person, is seen. And again, this works with almost any VTA. There may be a few where it just wouldn't really make sense to use them because of what the word means, but it goes with basically anything. And I just pulled here a few examples so you could see, and you will notice that some of them do have to do with money, being killed, things that are less pleasant. So you might want to use indefinite for politeness or things like that. But then there's also ones where, you will be called. And this is that idea of probably lots of people are going to call, this name. We don't need to be specific about who, because it's sort of more of a general society in general. And we also see a lot of this with institutions. So he's getting paid a lot, being arrested or things like that, which also I feel, although I haven't really looked into it in depth, have a bit of a tendency to be indefinite actor conjugations. So in the B form, we have a lot of the same things happening. Again, our X actor is here. If it's going up to me or you, then it's going to be an igu. This time, however, if it's going to the third or fourth person, we're going to use an ind. You can see right here. But the formula is the same. It's one of these sounds and then the rest of the VAI conjugation. And I didn't include a full list, but hopefully you'll be able to tell by the use of the blue color which ones are the VAI conjugation. And again, if you use a different VAI, so instead of yang, you say yin, great, make that substitution. I do believe that the formula stays the same pretty consistently. So here we are again. If it's me or you who's being acted upon, then we're going to see iku. So wapamiku yang, when I am seen. Wapamiku yang, when we are seen. Wapamiku yan, wapamiku yan, when you are seen. Wapamiku yig, when yous are seen. Wapamiku yang, when we, including you, are seen. And then for our third person, so when he or she, we just have the ind, and then if it's the plural, indwa. And that would be when he or she is seen, when or that they are seen. And here, of course, is the full list. And a few options for you to look through for examples. So here I've put in a full list of the A form on one side and the B form on the other, and tried to include a few of the different English translations to help people. Feel free to pause and check them out, and just be on the lookout for this verb conjugation as you go through. I feel like it was one of those things where I didn't notice it until I learned about it, and then I saw it everywhere, and it really helped me get a better feel of what people were sort of communicating